Okay, here's a quick tutorial on building an ArcMap template. First step is going to be to launch ArcMap. Okay, I'm going to just choose an untitled map project and just hit open. Okay, so we got a blank map on the screen right here. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the View menu. I'm going to come down to Data Frame Properties, and we're going to define the coordinate system of the data frame. If you've already got your coordinate system set up, or some of them set up in your favorites list, you can click on it there. If not, what you can do is you can scroll down and maybe open up the Projected Coordinate Systems folder. A commonly used coordinate systems UTM, NAD 1983, and you can set it for your appropriate zone. If you don't have that particular zone stored as a favorite, you can right click on it and hit Add to Favorites, and it will show up in the Favorites folder and make it a little bit easier to access. Okay, so I'm just going to click on my preferred coordinate system and I'm going to hit OK. Okay, with that step down, the next thing we can do is adjust some scales in here, and you can come in and you can add some custom scales to your map template. For instance, if you're a forester and you want to use a scale that's equivalent to 1 inch equals 10 chains, well, that is equivalent to 1 inch equals 7,920 inches. So you can add that in, or better yet, come down to Customize this list and type in 7920, and that will give you a 1 to 10 chain scale. You can also do 15,840 will give you a 1 to 20 chain scale. You can hit Add right there. You can add any other custom scales you'd like also. Okay, so now that we got that step down, what you can do now is look at your toolbars. Now I recommend that you always have the standard toolbar, the editor toolbar. If you don't have the editor toolbar turned on, the little button next to your scale right here will toggle that one on and off. And also the tools toolbar. You can access the toolbars by right clicking up here in the toolbar area, and you can scroll down through the list and you can turn on the appropriate whichever ones you want to have. Okay, you can also move these around. You can see that I've got the tools toolbar docked over here on the far left. That's where I like it, but you can move it anywhere you like. Another thing you may want to do is you may want to customize some of your toolbars. An easy way to do that is to go to the Customize menu, come down to Customize Mode, and it shows you a list of all your toolbars, but it also shows you a list of all your commands under the Commands tab. So we can scroll down here, and just for instance, I want to add the zoom to selected. So I'm gonna come down to my selection category and scroll down to the bottom, and there's a tool down here that is zoom to selected feature. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to drag it and I'm going to put it on the tools toolbar over here underneath the other selection tools. So that's a handy thing, when you want to zoom to a selected feature. It's neat to have that. Alright, another thing I like to do just to make myself more efficient while I'm editing is I'll go up here to the editor, and I'll come down and I will I'll choose the Save button, or Save Edits. I'll drag that up and I'll put it at the beginning of the editor toolbar. Just makes it handy to get to. Another thing I like to do is add the clear selection next to that button. So I'll go back to the selection one more time. Forgot that earlier. Alright, and clear selected features, I like to take that and put that up there, because that makes it handy when you're selecting, unselecting, and then cutting polygons. Makes that whole editor splitting polygons process pretty easy. Okay, so that's it for now on the customizing the toolbar. So I'll hit close right here. Okay, now I need to get ready to add layers to my map, and for this I want to go to the Arc catalog, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm connected to the folder where my GIS data layers reside. So what I can do is I can hit the connect to folder button right here, and I'll go to my C drive, and let's say that the folder where all my GIS data is stored is the GIS data folder right here. So I'll just select it and hit OK, and then now you can see that it shows up in my list of folder connections. It'll just make it easier for me to access layers to make a map with. Okay, I'll close out of this. Now the next thing I'll do is I'm going to go to my layout view down at the bottom. You can either go down at the bottom of the screen here to layout view, or you can go to view and layout view. Okay, at this point you can start adding items that are going to be part of your layout. So just by going to the insert menu, you can come down and you can choose a title, and you can just call it for now just a generic name like map name, and you can move it wherever you like. I'll just move it right here above the layer frame. Okay, now I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to come down. I'm going to go to how about a north arrow, and we'll just go through here and find a north arrow. I'll just choose that one. You can choose any one that you like. It adds it to the map. I'll move it around a little bit, and I'll just let it sit right there. Okay, go back to the insert menu. Let's say I want to add a scale bar. Okay, here's a list of scale bars. You can, quite a few to choose from. I'm going to choose something like this one. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to add it to the map. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to adjust my data frame up a little bit so I've got more room for my scale. Move it down here, and you can adjust the width or the height just by using those little handles right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna adjust this thing so it displays the scales the way that I want them. Tell you what I'm gonna do before I do that. Let me go change my that something, the scale up here at the top, something a little more manageable like 7920. Okay, so from here I'm going to double click on the scale bar, and I'm going to make some setting changes in here. I'm going to choose the adjust number of divisions right here on the resizing, and then this will allow me to come in and adjust my division values. And I'm going to adjust the division values to 660, and instead of miles, I'm going to make that feet. Okay, so now we should have 660 feet, and there's my scale bar. Okay, in divisions of 10 chains. Okay. I can also go back to the insert menu, and I can choose scale text, and then I'll select the one that's in feet, and then I can move this down below my scale bar. Okay. Alright, some other things that we could do is if you want to insert a picture to be like a company logo, I can do that. Here's one that just happens to be convenient on my computer. It's way too big, so I'm going to resize it, and then I'm going to move it down to the bottom corner of my screen. You can move it anywhere you like. Okay, so there we go. Alright, now at this point I'm going to go back over to the map view, and I'm going to add a base map layer that'll just help me find my way when I'm creating a new project. So I'm going to go to add base map, and I'm going to choose a streets layer. We'll add that to the map. We'll give it a second to load. Okay, now that it's loaded, I'm going to use one of my zoom toolbars, one of my zoom buttons, the zoom window, to zoom in to my home base. So let's just say that Middle Georgia right here is my working area, or the center of it anyway. So I'll just zoom in right here, and then I'll save this as a map template. Okay, and the way that you do that is there's a certain location that you'll use to store this map template. So we're going to go to the File menu, and we're going to go to Save As, and then we're going to go to our C drive. We're going to come down to Users, your username. We're going to go to App Data, go to Roaming, ESRI, and then whatever desktop version that you're running. ArcMap, templates. and then I'll just save this in here. I'll just call it DUI template, and I'll hit save. Okay, so what's going to happen here is the next time that I open ArcMap, or the next time I go to File New, I will see my template showing up right here, and I can add it in, and you'll see that it loads. It should, okay, and the way I'll use it is once the template loads, I will zoom into the area where my point of interest is, or where I'm going to build my new map. I will zoom into that location, and then I'll go to the File menu, and I'll go to Save As, and I'll save this in the location where the rest of my GIS data is stored. So I can just call this Bon Air project. Okay, and I can save that right there, and that doesn't mess up my original template. This will at this point I can turn off the street layer. I can go back and I can add an aerial image layer. Then I can start adding some shape files and start doing some digitizing to create new polygons, lines, points, that kind of thing. Okay, and you'll see that whenever I go back over to my layout view, you'll see all of the items that I had set up earlier in my layout will be over here. Okay, here we go. So you'll see my map title is empty, so I can go up here and I can type in whatever the okay, right there, and you'll see I can come up here and adjust my scale, and then that will make my scale bar. That will make it look the way that it should. Okay, and I can always go back to my map view and start my digitizing work or any other adding layers. Okay, hope this helped.